This is for your trainer at home. I promise, beyond the shadow of a doubt, regardless of what your trainer thinks of me or these clinics, if you come to practice and you come to take your lesson and you say, I know my pattern and I know exactly where I'm going to be, they will thank me, right? We are live. Live.
Shine bright like a diamond.
It's Tuesday. She's shining bright like a diamond. We got a little brightness here today. This is nice. A little studio light. This is perfect. Look at the contours. Pretty.
Oh, wow.
We're glowing today. That's awesome. So
Maybe we should back up.
it's let's get in the shadows here. It's Tuesday.
We are glowing. Why am I glowing so much?
It's LSH Live Day.
It's because we actually have actual daylight.
Look at this tan. This is nice.
I'm golden.
You can't even see our teeth. It's just so bright.
So bad.
So bright.
Bethany, how are you?
Hi, Bethany.
Got Doug LaRose, Mr. LaRose. What else do we have here?
Your Highness.
Anybody else? Shipley, how are you?
Oh, hi.
Okay.
Oh, this is
We
Sam.
have Sam and Macy. I'm Jeremy, of course. We have a dog trying to creep in through the area.
Oh, Henry.
So today we're going to work on,
Nice.
we're going to continue our work on the Novice Championship pattern, and I think today we're going to introduce Chrome and Sam to the pattern. Right? So this will be the very first pattern that this horse has run. The very first pattern he's ever run in his life. Bethany, we are doing well. How are you, Macy?
I'm good.
Doing
How are
very
you?
well.
I
Very
think I
good.
got spiders in my hair though, because I opened up the door, and it's like
By hand.
By hand, and there's spider webs everywhere, and I'm so itchy.
Got baby spiders.
I
So-
feel like they're crawling. Oh, like an
You get that feeling where it's just tons of spiders? Yeah. So a little bit of announcements. We hit 2,000 likes on Facebook.
Yes.
So what I want to do is I want to go through the list of all 2,000 people, and we're going to pick one at random, and we'll do like a little video lesson for them.
Yeah.
Right? So if you guys, I will do this probably drawing to Thursday or something.
Thursday.
Or in Friday's follow-up video. So we hit that 2,000 marks. We'll do a little drawing, and we'll either give them something, do a little live video thing or something to give back to you guys. So we'll keep working.
Aw,
Thank
you're
you, Hope,
welcome.
for tuning in. If you guys like this stuff, if you want to continue to see more of this
Like
stuff,
it,
like
heart
it,
it,
share it, share this
share it,
live video. This live video can
comment.
go to a lot of people. She's got it. Look, she's a
Like
salesman.
it, heart, share it, comment.
Perfect. That was scary.
Oh my goodness.
So.
We got
So
some
yeah,
friends.
we'll keep doing these. We enjoy doing them. We're having a lot of fun with this stuff, and I'm excited to see how big we can make it. Right. So I think we are just shy of, maybe a little over now, 525 subscribers on YouTube. So that's awesome. Thank you guys so much for that. She has no idea. You can't tell him that. You can't tell him that.
I'm sorry.
Say yeah, I know exactly how many subscribers. I know exactly how many minutes have been viewed.
I know how many Facebooks.
How many Facebooks? quick, get on your phone. How many Facebooks?
You just told me 2,000.
Over 2,000.
Over 2,000.
Over 2,000. We hit 2,000 today, so that was awesome. If you guys missed it, the blog post is up from last Thursday's 2-year-old stuff. If you haven't been checking those out, LaRoseHorses.com. I make a blog post to accompany every video that we do that we put up on YouTube. So if you missed the live video, you'll be able to see the HD audio, or video and audio on YouTube. And what I do is I go back through and edit that video up, and I crank the audio on it. So like this audio right here is going to sound really good because we're close, but then I go out there and I ride and people have a hard time hearing me. But the YouTube video, if you guys haven't checked that out yet, I go back through and edit that video up and crank the audio while I'm riding. So hopefully you guys really hear it a lot better. And then the blog post has just kind of my thoughts and ideas along with what I was going through the training stuff. So if you guys haven't checked those out, LaRoseHorses.com. The blog post, I think, I'm having fun with it. I like to write, I like to talk, so not a problem. I got a lot to say. And because of that, I'm working on a little podcast thing. So I personally, I don't know about you guys, I like to read, I like to listen. And I think that the audio stuff is going to be kind of the wave of the future. So I've been doing a podcast, working on setting that up, and I'll be able to just record my thoughts as I go, and then you guys can listen to it like in the car or the shower or while you're riding. So that's really my goal, is I want to put together like a horsemanship workout that you guys can listen to while you're riding that will keep you sharp and keep you moving, right? So then you guys can work in the same pace and timing as us when I'm calling things out to them and saying, hey, all right, lope, left lead, stop, turn around, roll back, right lead, extended jog, like breaking it down, going quick. And then we can kind of work through like our lope too, our pleasure lope, and kind of call the timing out of that, so you guys can make your horses lope with the same timing rhythm as our horses. And that's something that I spent a lot of time doing when I was a kid, was watching warm-up pen and watching horses lope around and trying to figure out the timing for it. So I'd watch and I'd go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I would record from the big shows, and like I would record my idols like Rusty and those guys and try to match my horses to their horses. So the podcast I think would be really fun, and we can go from there and try that.
Yep.
So let's set this pattern up. I think last time we left off, it was our first time running through the pattern, and we did 5-step circles, right? Was that from the center of that pattern was 5 steps out. So I practiced this.
No, 7, wasn't it?
No, 7 was the
was
large
the
end
large.
on
Right.
one side. We
Oh,
did
yeah,
like
yeah.
5, 6.
Yep,
Right.
yep.
So what I did was I worked more of this over the weekend with another set of clients, and we decided that 7 was probably ideal. So we're going to move this out to 7. So when you go home and you set this stuff up, and this is a conversation I had with her too, was when you set this pattern up at home, and you should, the more times you run through this, the better off you're going to be. Set this pattern up at home. You're going to go to the end cone, find your start cone, make your judge, walk 7 steps towards the center of the pattern from your judge, okay? And set a cone down. And then go 7 more steps out, set a cone down there. Go back to your second cone and go 7 steps that way, and then 7 steps that way, okay? So that way you have a 7-step circle. So when you go to the horse show and you go to make your circle, we'll kind of evaluate, is it 7, is it 5, how does it go, right? So I think personally it's going to be somewhere between 5 and 7. So when you set this up at home, set up 7, and then hopefully I'll run into you guys at the Novice Championship show, and we'll go from there, okay? So Elizabeth, we're doing very well. Brooke, hello, good to see you. Who else we got? Liz, good to see you. South Carolina, we wish we were there. Carol, nice to see you. Awesome. Good deal. So Hope, thank you for viewing. I think we already said hi to her. I'm bad at this.
Me too.
Don't touch anything, Mace.
I'm sorry.
So on the website too, before we get started, on the website, I am going through and filling out the calendar. So you guys will be able to see what clinics we got coming up, what we're doing. Jennifer, hello.
Hi, Jennifer.
We'll be able to see what clinics we got coming up, where we're going to be, what shows we're going to be at, and it's time to start figuring that out, right?
We're
We're
not
very
going
close.
anywhere.
Very close to, all right, hey, we're tan now. This is nice. Western Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
Awesome. Carrie Smith, go Wisconsin. Michigan, yeah, I mean, Wisconsin, I'll take it. I want to see the world, right?
Me
So if
too.
you guys want to send us to around the world,
I want to see the world.
let's see the world to this stuff.
A booze.
So, all right, so let's move these cones over. I'll show you guys what I was talking about. We'll get started here.
Let me flip it around.
Jerry, you're very welcome. No, yeah, go ahead and flip it around. Just kidding. Yes.
Okay.
We'll get started.
This new update's so confusing.
Yeah, that's the start cone. So what I was talking about, when you set this pattern up at home, we're moving these over.
Cincinnati. We have somebody from Cincinnati. April's from Cincinnati.
April's from Cincinnati.
Hi, Morgan Lands.
Hi, Morgan.
Hi from Iowa.
So, this is going to be your start cone. This cone exists. Okay? So you're going to start here. Is it on the other side? Off side? Anybody know?
No, that was the right side.
That's where it starts. Yeah, okay. So you're going to start right here, like this, looking at your judge. Okay? Judge is going to be straight out from the camera. Hopefully we're all in line here.
Yep.
So when I set this pattern up, here's my start cone. Walk all the way to the end, set your judge. So I will drop this cone into place. This is my judge right here. From this point, I want to find the center of my circle when I go to trot. So that's going to be 7 steps out. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's my center of my circle. Now I can't put that cone exactly in the center because we're going to trot through it. So that's going to stay there. I'll move it here for now. Center of my circle's right there. Come back out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right here. There's my next cone. Right there. Come back out. Go back to the center. Come back out to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right here. Right there. Back out this way. 7 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
Somebody asked, can you break down the setup? Can you go over your horse's feet and body position again?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And maybe after this, we'll do a little Q&A at the very end. So,
Yep.
if you guys have questions, do not hesitate to ask them. At the very end of this video, instead of just ending it, we'll scroll back through and answer questions and talk to you guys, hopefully.
Good.
All right, so this is how I've got my pattern set up. This is how I encourage you guys when you go home to set this up. You do not need your horse to do this. Your horse does not need to know the pattern, okay? You need to know the pattern. So I encourage you, I strongly, strongly encourage you, if you want to compete at a high level, if you're making a run at the Novice Championship show this year, if you are going to make a finals, if you are going to be top 10, if you're going to be a winner, you need as much time into this as possible, okay? I want to run this pattern. I want you guys to be able to stand at the start cone, look out, and visualize these cones, okay? If you can't do that, if you're not familiar with the pattern and the steps and the muscle memory involved, you're going to be behind compared to somebody you're showing against, okay? So I always talk to people about the time invested in this, and I hear people all the time tell me, well, I want to win, right? I want to go to the show and I want to win, okay? My question to you is, what have you done before the show to win, right? What kind of work did you put in? What kind of hours did you put in? What kind of time did you put in, okay? And the answer a lot of times is, well, I took my one lesson a week, right? So what that means is that we are 5 weeks away from the Novice Championship East show. That's 5 hours of practice, okay? Compare that to any sport, right? Any professional athlete. How often do you think they get 5 hours of practice in?
One day.
Every day, right? Every day they get 5 hours of practice in, okay? So for me, I think of this as Novice Championship show. For a lot of people, this is going to be it, right? This is one of the biggest shows they've ever been to. We're going to Wilmington. Wilmington is a fabulous place to show. It's incredible.
Yes.
The facility is amazing, and it's intimidating, right? So if you have 5 hours of practice in between now and the Novice Championship show running this pattern, you are not practicing enough, okay? So for some of you, that may be a wake-up call. For some of you, that might be kind of scary. I encourage you to think about that, right? 5 hours is not much time.
No.
All right? That's, you have however many days between now and the Novice Championship show, but if you practice once a week, you're getting 5 hours of practice in between now and then.
So scary to think about.
Which means, if you're only getting 5 hours of practice in, you better be real close today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're not going around one-handed today, and you have 5 hours of practice left, you're in trouble, okay? At least for me, okay? So I encourage my clients, I encourage everyone that's going to the Novice Championship show that is coming with me, that's not getting coached here today, to watch this and set this up at home and run it as many times as you possibly can, okay? So that your legs and your body gets used to the timing and the flow of this pattern, okay? So, like I said, start cone, judge, 7 steps back, 7 steps back. Go back to the middle, 7 steps out, 7 steps this way. That sets your circle, okay? That circle, to me, after running this a bunch, feels right, okay? So I try to create patterns that feel right to me. This feels like the pattern the judges had in mind when they set that pattern up, okay? This feels like the size that would be appropriate for an arena, all right? Now, Wilmington is a huge place. Those are gigantic arenas. So this might change, but I feel like this pattern is going to be the right amount of time, right? Because we're going to start timing ourselves to this pattern, okay? And we're going to make it efficient, okay? So everything's moving and going. Remember, a showmanship pattern on the average is going to be between a minute and a half long. If you set this pattern up at home, if we have it set like this, and this pattern is 2.5 minutes long, we're making it smaller, okay? Because they can't afford at the show to have a pattern run 2 minutes long. Just think about that, guys. If there's 60 runs, and there's 2 minutes of pattern, that's 2 hours of showmanship. You know what I mean? So you got to think about that. Like, you got to keep the show moving, too, so these patterns are set for time and space, okay? Those are the 2 variables that determine the size of your pattern, time and space, all right? So, with that in mind, everybody got a good picture of this, how this is set up? Yeah, I got a cold. I'm going to struggle through this. All right, so, everybody got a good idea how this is set up? I'm going to tip these cones over, right there. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the middle cones out.
Are we running this one by one?
You can run it together. Doesn't matter. However you want to do it. You guys feeling like running separately?
Separately. Just kidding.
All right. That's fine.
You went separately too.
I don't care. You just don't want a horse today?
So, you guys saw how we had this set up before. We got lots of practice in with those 2 cones in the middle. Today, I'm going to take the 2 cones out. So then it gives us 3 points to set up our pattern around. We have our judge at the end. That one's always there. Then we have these 2 cones on the sides. And Kelly, can you see those 2 cones on the sides?
Yep.
Okay. Those two cones are where I want you to look. So when you set this pattern up, I want you to go with your eyes all the way to the end. Look at your judge. Come back 7 steps. Okay, see that, Sam? See that point? Then come back 7 steps more. Find that point. That's going to be the top of your circle. Okay? What that means is the top of your circle ends up somewhere pretty close to you. Okay? So when you run this pattern at home, the top of your circle ends up pretty close to you. So the way I described that was, if you divide this up into thirds between you and the judge, the top of your circle is the first third. Make sense? All right. So, with that in mind, let's run it. Show me what we got.
Bad whiskey.
You remember that?
Backing up, no.
So,
2, stop,
270.
370,
Set up.
Back to 180, trot, circle, right to walk, walk.
You got it. Bingo. Bingo.
I kind of.
Show the good folks at home what this looks like, Sam.
Uh-oh.
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 No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah,
Go
no
ahead.
pressure at all.
So she's going to start out. Sarah, drive her hand forward. Very good. All the way to the judge. Good, 270. Cross over. Cross over. Cross over. Cross over. Good, finish. 2 horse lengths. Good, 180. Very good. Her eyes are on this cone. Her eyes are on this cone. Good. Good. See how that feels? Feels better with 7, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Very good. She hit that point perfectly in line. Very good. Now, you feel you were a little bit late there. Yep. Very good. And late as far as when you started coming straight through your line. Right? So you ended up a little bit straight right here. Okay? If everybody can see how she came through here, you made this more of a corner. This is still an arc. Okay? And with a 7-step circle, what you're going to do is when you pass these points, this one, and that one, it's straight, straight turn. So what that looks like for everybody, if I'm trotting through that circle, if this is the top of my circle, if this mark right here, and I want to do it right here so you guys can see it on camera. If this is that cone right there, I'm going to be trotting through, I'm going to come in, straight, cone, straight, circle. Okay? So it's going to sound like this. Trotting, straight, cone, straight, straight, circle. Okay? See how I make that circle off my outside foot. This one flies straight, 2 strides. Okay? So when I come through here, I'm like this, straight into this, cones right here, passing that point right here, gonna be like this, straight, straight, circle. Okay? Your instinct is gonna be to cut in with this leg right here. It's gonna make your circle too sharp. Okay? Go back, run it again. So when you pass a cone, stay straight at least 1 stride for 90% of patterns. Okay? Go ahead. Good. They're moving together. Good. One of the things I really like about these guys, if you guys paid attention when we started this, these guys had never done showmanship like this before with a horse in person. Okay? And they were very off sync. If you watch them now, they're almost perfectly in sync with each other when they go to do things. And I love that. Now they're dancing. So she's going to hook around here. She comes in this cone. She's late. See that? She comes around here. Here's our straight, 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 straight circle. See that? Straight, 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 straight circle. See how that makes a nice arc? Much better. Much better. Very good. So when you see it that way, that straight, straight circle, do you feel that was a lot better?
Yeah.
Do you feel you swung wide on this one again?
Yes.
Okay. So that 180 into that arc is tricky, right? That's a tough part of the pattern. For me, to make this look like a good circle, that's the hardest part. Okay? So, you're at the cone. It's Wilmington. 5 weeks from now, where are you going to look? Judge and then the sides. Find your center, then find the point right in front of you. Okay? When you go to the start cone and you have a strategy like that, your pattern will be so much better. Okay? So infinitely better, okay? To get to the cone and have a plan, to me, is huge, right? That you're going to look out there and you're going to see your marks. Even if you didn't see your marks, what you will do is you will feel like you're supposed to turn because you've run this enough, right? You've got some muscle memory built up, so then you can lay down the pattern that your instinct tells you to do, right? And there's something about going to horse shows that makes people just lose their mind, right? I can't tell you how many times I've gone out there and practiced showmanship with somebody and gone, all right, how do you feel about it? And like, what's your name? Do you know your name? Where are you? And they're just deer in the headlights, right? So I want you to run this enough so that this is instinct for you, okay? Showing to me, especially showmanship, especially a pattern class, is a mental game, okay? If your mind is in the right place, you are going to be better than 75% of the people that just aren't there.
I agree.
Okay? That they go out there and they just black out.
Yep.
Right?
There's a lot of those.
A lot of those. A lot of those. So I want you to be confident with where your steps are supposed to be so that you can be confident when you go show and you take energy through that pattern, right? If you know without a doubt where you're supposed to be, you're going to drive through the pattern, right? I want you guys to be able to drive through the pattern, okay? So Sam, why don't you go get Chrome? Now that they've seen it a little bit. So that driving through the pattern to me is just so, so important, right? There's a difference when I watch people show, the people that came to show and the people that came to just do showmanship, right? When you go out there and you're going to win, right? And you know you've put in the hours and the time that it takes to go win, you show way differently, right? So again, it goes back to when we go to the shows, we're not trying to put it together at the show.
No.
That it was together long before we got there, and we're making fine-tuning stuff when we get there, right? That cat is just friendly, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, Kel, do we have any questions or comments?
No, not right
Awesome.
now.
Perfect. Perfect. We got a little break here. We don't have those usually.
Oh, Terry Ortman said hi.
Hello, Terry.
Hello.
Cat's itching on her
Yeah.
thing. Kel, the cat.
I got it. Oh, I'm holding on to it so she can't move. But I don't know her name because it's already gone. But from Nova Scotia, she can't wait
Awesome.
till June.
Yes, we'll be in Nova Scotia in June.
Yes.
I just got my birth certificate rushed here so I can get my passport so we can be ready to
He
go.
lost his.
Well, we're going to prove that I was born in America. I'm an American citizen, I promise. Promise.
Oh, foot hurts.
Your foot hurts. Oh.
Oh, Sharky.
We got an injured rider here.
Modest today.
What else? What else did I come up with when I ran this with Brittany over the weekend? Oh, so Brittany, you better be watching this.
Yeah.
Right? So we busted Brittany last time, but she wasn't watching this. We got Brittany Olivero. She's going to the Novice Championship show, and she did not watch our practice here. Okay.
Shame.
So what I want everybody to understand is that if you guys are watching this stuff, and this is for me, this is for your trainer at home, I promise, beyond the shadow of a doubt, regardless of what your trainer thinks of me or these clinics, if you come to practice and you come to take your lesson and you say, I know my pattern and I know exactly where I'm going to be, they will thank me, right? So keep that in mind. The more you do at home, regardless of what you think of what we're doing here, if you think it's goofy, your trainer will be very, very happy that you've done this.
Very, very happy.
So, because it saves us time. So I always tell people, if you guys want to work on the fun stuff, if you want to get to where the meat and the potatoes of going to win at the show, if you want to get into that, spend the time looking at this stuff because it's out here and it's free. Don't wait to do this at your lesson because you're wasting everybody's time, right? This is something you can do at home so that your trainer can use their expertise and their eyes to get you right, okay? If you're a trainer and you're watching this, stress to your students to prepare at home, okay? You can spend a lot of time preparing at home so that you can get into your trainer actually helping you with the good stuff, okay? So, let's put the chain on him.
Go work, Sam. This is work time.
We're going to go cold turkey. We're just going to go right out of the stall and we're going to see what this looks like, okay? We're going to run this a bunch and we're going to see the progression of our horse in his showmanship, okay? Now, when we do this, we're going to keep in mind our horse's natural showmanship ability, right? Our horse has not had a ton of time in the showmanship. So, with that being said, we are not going to expect perfection here today. What we are going to expect is progress, okay? I always get my horses out, never expecting perfection, but expecting progress, okay? So, what do I anticipate through this pattern? I anticipate that this horse is going to jump around a little bit. I anticipate he's going to blow through his stops a little bit. I anticipate he's going to chew on Sam a little bit. There you go. So we're going to work through this pattern and we're going to address issues as they come, okay? So, Sam, first issue that I see. When you set your horse up, he's right in front of the camera. You guys get a good view of the horse's butt, okay? When you set a horse up, they have to remain straight head to tail, okay? See how she was setting him up and she had his head off to the side?
You can't see it.
Okay, hopefully, if you have your horse set up and you have their head off to the side, you're going to miss it, okay? You're not going to have control over the leg that you want, all right? Make sure their head, when you're asking for their feet to move, is perfectly in the middle of their body, okay? If it's not, you are not going to be setting them up in the area that you want them to be in, okay? Go ahead, Sam. I like this trot off. That's actually a check plus trot off for me. That was very, very good. Not a bad stop. Pivots are going to be tricky for this horse. I know that. It's okay. She's just going to keep some pressure on the chain. Not bad. And a good setup after that. Pretty good. If you come out of it like this and your hinds are like that, I'm going to leave it alone. I'll buy it right there. That's very good. Neck in the middle. Step back and show. Now, used to be, when we set horses up, we wanted their neck to be down. I love if his head would straighten out. That right there is perfect. Okay? This is showmanship at halter. So I don't mind his setup looking a little haltery. Very good. Neck down. Keep your eyes up. Good. And just move. Very good. Neck down. Good. Good. Little forward. Very good. And trot, but corner right away. There you go. Nice. Very good. So a little up right there. Good. On the whole, not terrible, right? For this horse's first showmanship pattern ever, not terrible. Okay? Yeah, for the first one ever for this horse, not bad at all. So, what I try to do is I try to score our patterns right now. I score patterns based on what percentage of the time did it look like she was showing, right? So if I do that and I think of, okay, what percentage of the time did she stay in a showing position, okay? If I were to evaluate that pattern, I would say, aside from the times that she had to like slap his shoulder or whatever and go two-handed, on the whole, that pattern ends up about 55% of the time, okay? I would say maybe half of that pattern, it looked like Sam could be at a horse show, all right? Looked like Sam and Chrome were at a horse show. And for me, I am pleasantly surprised, right? How are you? You're very surprised. Very surprised. Yeah, so that's how I look at our score, okay? Regardless of anything else that's happening, I say, you know what? 55% of the time, she looked like she was showing and being pretty good, right? So what I want to do then is I want to increase that amount of time to 75% of the time, 85% of the time, 95% of the time, okay? I can relate that back directly almost to my score in showmanship, right? So that run for me is somewhere between a 55 and a 65, okay? If we go and we increase the odds and increase the amount of time that he stays right, our score goes up. It's that simple, okay? So let's run it again, and let's think of those problems that we're into, okay? What we're trying to do here, this is how we practice our showmanship at home. Our rider has done the pattern a bunch. Did that feel pretty good to you? You knew where to be, right? So you didn't have to worry about you at all. So what we can do then is we're going to use this time, these couple runs, 5 weeks out from the show. These couple runs, good, are going to tell us what we're going to work on for the next 5 weeks, right? So what did we know? We know on a down transition to a walk, he popped his head up. Yep. We know on our trot off, he popped his head up. We know on our stop was pretty good, and our setup was really good.
Yeah, your setup was really good.
And our inspection was really good.
Saturday helped.
Yeah.
You did,
Yeah. And then our back needed a little bit of work.
For him, that was pretty good.
Not bad for where he is, right? So now I have a laundry list of things that I want to be better for the next run, right? Show me. I am in love with his trot-offs. I think he's doing fantastic in those. Very, very good. Excellent. Good, stop, stop, square. Turns in a little bit of work. Little down pressure, a little soft, good. Good. Now she's gonna pull forward, watch our calf.
I hear him.
Good. Push back. 1 clock per foot move. 1 clock. Push back. Good. Close enough for me. Good. Whoa, whoa. Forgot the second whoa. Okay, so I was saying it as she moved. When you set your hinds, say whoa. When you set your fronts, say whoa before you step away. All right? Good. I'll take it. Good. Very good. Now watch that head curl. Good. Excellent. There you go. Good. Finish. Walk, Sam. Walk. Get your eyes up. There you go. There. That's what I want to see. Make sure you're moving. Don't give him a chance to jam his neck up. A lot better turn. Turn. See how that took a long time for him to get trotting? Good. Neck comes up a little bit around there. Good. Excellent. And walk. So he's still a little bit unsure about those down to walk transitions, right? So what that tells us, go ahead and run it again, Sam. What it tells us is we have a list of things that we need to work on. One is going to be trotting from a 180 into a circle, okay? Think about the actual maneuver that you're coming out of. You're coming out of a 180 into a hard right turn and a trot, right? So Sam, how important is it that he really gets trotting quickly?
Very.
Very, right? Because otherwise, it looks awkward. You're running and he's still in place. Right?
Whoa.
Whoa. What is it? Whoa. Whoa. Like you mean it, right? I think horses are a lot like dogs in that the way you say it, the more commanding you say it, the better they're going to respond. Okay? This looks really good. Go ahead, run it. Very good. He went right up into it. No pressure on the chain. Excellent. Stops have been decent. Little neck down, much better. Don't crowd him. Make sure he moves out of your way. A lot better. Nailed the pivot that time. Stuck the pivot. Very good. Now his neck is crooked here, so she does not have control over her hind foot like she wanted. There you go. Do you see how that changed everything? You got his neck straight, and suddenly you had control. Keep pulling. There, now push back. Pull. There you go. Push back. As long as he's actively moving his foot, I don't care how long this takes. There. Whoa, whoa. There you go. Whoa. Whoa. And a little down shank on the chain if he goes to move out of that. Okay? Now he moved his hind foot. So for me, this is bordering on just reset the whole thing. Okay? Whoa. Now, don't move. There, lick and chew. That's what I'm looking for. So once he got in this setup, I want him to lick and chew. I want him to take a puff. Because I want to make sure that he's telling us, I understood why I had to keep the pressure on the chain. I understood why she kept moving me. Okay, cross over. I love where his neck is here. There. Cross over. I like this look a lot. Cross over. Ears forward. Neck a little bit archy. There, right there. That's what I want. Right before he bit the chain. Right before he became a baby on us. Move. Eyes up. Across his back. There. Down pressure on the chain. Better. Right corner. Extend it. Good. A little excited. Very good. Nice and soft with your hands. So, that gets rough the longer we go, right? So the further that trot went, the more this horse got unsteady. Okay? Very good. Very good.
Somebody asked,
Donna.
Yep.
Donna, where do I position myself and my horse at the beginning of the pattern?
The beginning of the pattern, I believe that you are at the cone with your left cone on your left. And you're going to look straight at your judge. And I think it even says lead side of the horse. Okay? So what that means is, for me, depending again on how much room they give you, I would love to see someone who sets up right at the cone and takes off into their trot. right? But you have to be trotting at this cone, right? You start at a trot. So for me, if you don't get if your horse doesn't drive up well and doesn't really step up into their trot well, give yourself a little bit extra room, okay? What you do not want to do is be on top of this cone. More importantly, be set up in line with your judge down at the end, right? Make sure your horse is set up in line with your judge at the end, okay? Then it doesn't so much matter where you are here. Be in line down there, okay? But as far as whether you start at the cone or before, the more accurate your horse is, raise the degree of difficulty, right? This pattern would look a lot better if you were more precise and you started directly at where it's supposed to be, right? But if you can't get there, if your horse doesn't step off well, you have 5 weeks to get it right, right? Think about that, right? So if you said, you know what, I videoed myself at this cone and my horse didn't trot immediately. He didn't pick right up into a trot. Then I'm going to work on my trot, right? Now, Sam, you have your chain over your nose, which means your horse is not allowed to do that.
He's like, I see camera.
Yeah. So, what we want to do is we have our list of things that we want to get better now, right? We have our trot circle needs to be smoother, right? His neck's got to be steadier. Our break to a walk has to be smoother, which is weird. You wouldn't think that that would be a problem, right? You'd think he'd just come down into that. But what is our horse expecting us to do? Stop, right? So when your shoulders are trotting and you break down to a walk, he goes, whoa, like that. So that's a problem that we created in asking for good, crisp stops, okay? The good news is we created the problem, so we know how to fix it, right? So because that's a man-made issue, we know how to fix it, and it's easy. And then we want to work on our setups need just a little bit of work. You actually nailed your pivot down there, so I'm really happy about that. He's still got to figure out keeping his neck down and keeping his shoulders open.
Right.
But on the whole, if this was 5 weeks out, I would say we're in good shape. Right?
Really fast, Elizabeth said, do you think just a snap under the halter, do you think that makes it a higher level of difficulty?
I don't. No, I wouldn't give more credit to someone like that, right?
It's more the loop.
It would be, yeah, it would be more in the loop. Come up here, Sam, so you can see that.
Brittany said, proof I'm watching this time.
All right. I called you out earlier if you saw it before. All right, so the degree of difficulty for me, more has to do with the amount of slack between your hand and the horse, okay? So rather than just like completely forego a chain because that's fundamentally different, right? And I don't think a judge would know what to do with that. I would say what every judge can agree on is this loop, this slack right here, as long as it's not sloppy, if that horse maintains that slack and never tightens up or shrinks up on it, if that maintains the same distance right there, like see how our horse is changing all the time? If this stays the same through the whole pattern, that's a degree of difficulty change for me, okay? Because it's more broke. So think about the same way if you were riding, if you could show your pleasure horse on a giant drape down to their mouth and it never sped up or slowed down or made you pick up your hand or change your rein length, then that horse is obviously more broke. So for us, because he doesn't trot off exactly when we want, that slack goes away when she hits him with her hand, right? She goes forward and he stays behind, so that slack gets tight. Okay? Or she goes to pivot and that slack changes because he lifts his head or he drops his head, right? The more solid he can be, the more solid that chain is going to be, right? So what I would say is, as a general rule, how much are you guys together has more to do with the degree of difficulty than where is your chain or how long is your chain, right? So I would, and for me, what I like to do, what I love to see because I think it looks cleaner, is I'll take my chain and loop it under, and a lot of people will go back up along the side of their halter and clip it like this. And what I try to do is cut my chains so that I don't have to go up the side of their face. So I'll cut my chains so that I have this much sticking out on the other side and only clip to right here. Because I think it looks so much cleaner when it's not looped back and doubled over.
That almost seems like you're not pulling the halter off.
Right. So that's how I feel about it. Because if your horse hits that, it twists their halter because it's clipped up here and looped back. Okay, so I think it looks a lot cleaner. That's one of our strategies that we do. I don't see a ton of people do that because they think that looping it back is the way you're supposed to do it. I don't believe it's written in the rule book anywhere how it has to be clipped. So I like to clip it right here and cut my chain so only a little bit sticks out over here. Because I think it looks a lot better. Okay? So you see how this is way too long. Couldn't do that in a class with this chain.
Keep shortening.
Yep. So you want to have about that much, I would say. Just enough to make a soft little loop. Okay? So, yeah. awesome. So he's done. Very nice job, Sam. Awesome. Very, very good. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I think that's we're out of time, right? It's 3:45.
Yeah, 45.
We started a little late, so we went a little long.
A little longer.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys.
Thank you.
We will continue to work on this pattern and continue to work on this horse. Remember this time, right? So the cool thing about videoing these lessons and what I love about this stuff is that we're going to look back on this in June after she shows the showmanship at the Pinna World. And we're going to say, wow, look where we started, right? Regardless of how we do at the show, you guys have seen the very first pattern this horse ever did. You saw the very first time Sam ever did showmanship with me. You saw the very first all of it, okay? So what I really hope and what I truly believe is that you guys will see the very beginnings of a horse being trained and a win.
Might see Sharky and me.
Yeah. I would love to take this from being the very beginnings to a win, because that's never been done before, right?
Love to see.
Nobody's documented that whole thing, so I want you guys to be a part of that, right? That's my dream for this whole deal.
We got a lot riding.
We got a lot to do. The whole world is watching, Sam.
Oh.
Awesome. So I will see you guys Thursday for another live clinic.
Yep.
I think we might make it up to the Quarter Horse show, the Easter show here at MSU on Thursday. So what I'd love to do is I would love to go live from the horse show. And maybe we can run through a couple patterns, whatever's going on at the show, and we can give you guys some live feedback on what's going on, right? So that's, let me know if you guys think that would be cool. Continue to like and share if you guys enjoy this, if you want to see more. You guys mean everything to us, and we want to keep doing this stuff. So if you haven't checked them out, Sales Paddock.
Oh yeah, check them out.
Check them out. So that mapping feature should be sometime very soon.
Yes, very soon.
And then Holla Denim and Good Ride, mygoodride.com, holladenim.com. Please go support them if you want to support this. The tires are live on the website, so if you guys want training wheels, you can order them on there, or just send me a message on Facebook, whatever you want to do. And we will see you guys on Thursday. Have a great week, guys. See ya.
I'll go in there. Do you have any question? Oh.